Hey, welcome to another edition of Fight Stories. This is Tyler Morrison. My co-host John Moses is noticeably absent today because we're doing a special series of episodes up in Canada in the Great White North. John's down in New Jersey, but he'll be on the next one. I'm sitting here with another special guest of ours. I was very excited about this. Carol Zoccoli is our guest. She is a hilarious stand-up comedian. And what happened is I put out the bat signal for Fight Stories. I was looking for some, I put it out there. I said, anyone in Toronto comedy that has interesting fight stories, I'd love to hear from you, especially women, because we haven't had any women on our show yet. And, it's just like regular comedy assholes. We haven't haven't been diverse enough. And I was like, we need to get some tough broads on the show. So my friend and your friend John Moston, he reached out and he said, listen, you have to get Carol Zoccoli. And I can't tell you how excited I am because he said she's writing a one-woman show right now about your fight story. So welcome to the show, Carol. And
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. This is great. I guess anyone who's listening, Carol's very unassuming. You wouldn't think that she's throwing down before, but oh my God.
I'm very short, but I'm very small, right?
Yeah.
So I think I look so harmless. I am now. I don't think I can fight anymore.
But you used to.
Yeah, I used to a lot.
See, that's the thing. I've seen we've done stand-up shows together, and so when I saw you do stand-up for the first time or two, I remember thinking wow, this is such a real person. The way you your stories are so it's real deal. That's what I walked away thinking when I saw you do stand up. I'm like, she doesn't hold anything back and not afraid to speak the truth. So that's gonna definitely make your show something to watch. I'm excited to see the full thing when you do put it up.
Yeah, I'm excited too, and I'm in that phase that I'm still creating it, and so it's so painful sometimes, because it's hard to create a whole show like this and a little bit more theatrical than a stand-up, because I really want to tell the story. So I didn't want to do it as a pure stand-up in a way, set up punchline, set up,
pressure with laughs per minute in a pure stand-up set. So.
And also, I think I needed to have also do something different. Mm-hmm. As comics, we are used to this format, which is a stand-up, which I love it, but I also want to do different things.
Of course.
Yeah,
you want to challenge yourself and push the medium, right? So,
yeah.
And so you're originally from Brazil, is that?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Okay, so you come from Brazil, and back in Brazil, you've had some pretty good success comedy-wise. I guess tell us a little bit about how you got started in comedy back there.
Yeah, I started around 11 years ago, and when I started doing stand-up comedy in Brazil, stand-up comedy was beginning there. Mm-hmm. So we had to explain to the audience what stand-up is before the show.
So like a true pioneer in your home country.
It was this group. Some people started a little bit before me, but it was at that moment, that birth.
That's very cool.
And then I think in 3 to 5 years, the whole comedy scene in the country changed.
Okay.
Yeah, so now stand-up is big there. But I did that. I did a bunch of stuff. I wrote for some shows. I did some TV spots and some TV stuff. It was really cool because I was at the beginning of this thing. And in Brazil, we didn't have a tradition of written humor, and because... I was doing that, and I was being a writer. Mm-hmm. So I was really worried about my material. So I think that helped me getting writing jobs,
Yeah.
And still today, sometimes I still write for Brazil.
Okay.
I'll write from here, some people that I worked in the past. They ask me, can you just write something? And I do, and I still do.
Yeah, and so back then were you on the Brazilian version of Saturday Night Live?
Yeah. It existed for a year there. They went to Brazil and they did one season there.
Okay.
Yeah,
and they have a Comedy Central there now.
They have a Comedy Central.
And you've done.
I've done two stand-up sets there, and I did one. They did a documentary about me doing stand-up in English.
Oh, very interesting. So to take that kind of you're well known over there as a comedian. So to come to Canada.
I'm doing open mics
I know,
in basements.
It must be, let alone a culture shock. It's also a culture shock comedy wise to come into to start from square one here.
Yeah, but I in a way, trying to see the positive side of it. It was good because, first of all, my English was shit. I'm way better now because I started speaking English here.
Oh, wow. So, that's not long ago then.
So, 5 years ago. I mean, I did understand and I could read English, but I never, I didn't speak English,
Yeah.
Which is different. And so I started doing open mics, and in a way, it was good because there was no pressure.
Of course.
Because I threw all my material away because I didn't want to translate. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
the
comedy is very, the language are so important
and the culturally too is different. Comedy is very cultural, so it is very weird to translate jokes because now I'm talking to a very different audience.
Yeah.
So I used to go to shows and pay attention to the audience. I would watch the audience to understand what they laugh about. What is going on? Yeah.
So that's great. I think it's so cool that you the way you've been able to come over here. Obviously, learn a new language, but then take that and turn it into very respectable stand-up. In my opinion, you're very.
Thank you so much.
And to be doing that, and then now you're trying to push the envelope a little bit more and get into this one-woman show that you're talking about. Do you have a name for it yet?
Yeah, it is How to Beat Up Any Man.
Yeah, that's I think that needs to be a book as well.
Yeah,
the
right.
handbook.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
it
great.
Should be a book after. Yeah.
And so back in Brazil, this is obviously something early on. You must have had a few scrapes with some bad hombres.
Yeah,
that's Mexican.
I can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Like from my point of view, right? This is my point of view. I think. Brazil and maybe the entire Latin America is so sexist, and girls, the boys really like to put us on our places, and I think I was too proud.
Yeah.
And so I learned how to speak their language, and just scare them or just beat them up.
Yeah. Does this type of confidence to do that, to stand up to them, does that come from your parents? Did they teach you that, or was it?
Yeah.
So
my family, my family was that whole story, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, my mom's father was a diamond dealer.
Okay.
So I don't think I need to explain any further.
Yeah.
My dad was a bit of a criminal.
A bit.
He used he would just con people. He was involved in illegal gambling for a while. My brother was involved in cockfighting for years.
Upstanding young man.
So, and my dad was a short man. My dad was a short Latino.
Okay.
And he was badass as fuck. And I would see people shake out of fear of my dad. So I was like, you know what? I realized this is an act.
Yeah.
So let me try to do that on the street. Yeah. But sometimes I think I really risked my life.
Okay.
To be very honest. I think, and in a way, I think because I'm a woman and I'm small, I think some man would be so surprised by being beat the shit out or having they don't expect.
Yeah.
So that is something that you can play.
They underestimate.
And
then they get surprised.
Yeah, that was actually one of my biggest weapons. The underestimation.
Of course, no, it's a great tool to use. You have to, if you're a smaller person.
Yeah, you don't expect. You're like, yeah.
Wow, so early on you learned that this is how you're going to carry yourself in these situations. And what's the first time that you just hauled off and beat some guy?
Yeah, the first time I was in kindergarten. I was not, but before senior kindergarten, because before I was in kindergarten and this little boy, he pushed me from the slide and he broke my arm.
Okay.
But I didn't do anything. I was so small,
Yeah.
And also, there's this thing, like you're a girl, like girls don't fight. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
girls,
there's a
girls are
stigma to that.
nice. Yeah, like I think in all over the world, right? We are not, because I think that the difference is like men are raised to express anger,
Yeah.
and only anger, and women are raised to express all other emotions but anger.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Anger isn't something that people value in a woman. I think it's by society. It's they're supposed to be empathetic and nurturing and that, and so the anger maybe gets strong women traditionally have been shunned because of that.
Exactly, exactly. So, so yeah, of course, I was raised not by my parents, but I mean society, right? I remember a teacher I had that she used to tell me, you have to behave like a girl. You have to behave like a girl, because I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And this first boy, that he broke my arm, and I was like, I didn't do anything. But then there's this, when I started wearing glasses, there's this boy who would bully me, called me glasses and stuff, and he started beating me up too. And this was the one that I beat up for the first time.
Okay.
So I beat him up, and then he never messed with me again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's something in there.
Yeah, I got some room now.
Yeah. But then this was kindergarten, and then first and second grade, I studied in an all-girls Catholic school.
Okay.
Which then
Yeah.
I don't have any kind of problem. The only problem I had in that school is that I will have a recurring nightmare that I was naked in school. But I think that's just the Catholic part.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't have anyone like beating me up or bullying me,
Yeah.
But then when I changed to school in the third grade, there's this group of boys. They were like this pack of boys that they will every break they will come over and they will grab the girls' butts.
Okay.
And they will run laughing. And I thought that was so humiliating. I was humiliated by that experience.
Yeah.
So once they did it to me, and I was very like, because they laughed. You know what I mean? Like they're just telling me that
you don't feel any power in that situation.
Exactly.
Because there's so many. It's
Exactly.
multiple people.
Yeah.
You feel very small when they victimize you like that.
Exactly. So that I remember that third grade was when I decided that I will become a fucking badass.
Nice.
Like,
Yeah.
And I remember that happened, and I was very upset, and the girls were all like, "Oh, let it go. They're dumb, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Let it go." But I couldn't let go because I don't know, maybe I had already like an oppressive environment at home, and I loved school. I loved school. I didn't want the school to be. It was the best part of my day.
Yeah.
So I didn't want them fucking up school
Yeah,
for me.
don't fuck up school for me, guys.
and so I became obsessed. And they were 5, and I was like, how can I beat up 5 boys at once? Because I knew that I could beat up one.
Yeah.
I had done already. And then I was like, how? This is too. I can't. They will beat me up. And then I remember there's this cousin of mine. She was a little bit of a hippie. She's used to sell this, this tissue, like dyed tissue purse.
Okay.
Super hippie.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
It was like a tie-dye purse?
a tie-dye, yes, exactly. And then she was selling those, and I asked her for one. And she gave me one. And then I thought that I could turn that purse into a weapon. And so I put a rock inside it. And then I said, okay, with this rock, I can hurt at least 2. I will be beat up.
Yeah.
I will. I had consciousness that I will be beat the shit out
You're
of.
willing to take a beating to send a message.
But to send a message. And I was like ready. I was like a UFC fighter, anything can happen tonight.
Yeah.
And then I was carrying my purse every day in school. And then one day, this boy, he came and grabbed my butt.
So you're walking around with a purse full with rocks?
With a rock,
or
yeah.
one big rock?
With one rock. Let's say like this size.
Yeah.
One rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock.
And like my Carrie Bear,
Yeah.
you know, like Princess Pencils
Yeah.
and the rock.
It's like a kid with a ball and chain.
Yeah. And then this day, this boy came and he grabbed my butt, and they laughed. And that was the worst. Like they laughed at us because they knew we couldn't do anything, you know. And then I said, I'm gonna get you. And I start running, and he started running. But when he ran, his friends they were laughing because they were all laughing at me running after. I was the smallest kid in school. I've always been the smallest, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So they started laughing, and they didn't came with the guy. So then I realized, I need to beat up just one. This is too fucking easy, man.
Yeah.
And I went for him. And then he ran to the, you know, when you get to the end of, you know, the school, the wall.
Yep.
And then he had to stop.
Oh, yeah.
And then I took my purse out and I started to beat the shit out of him with it. And it was like, oh, he couldn't understand why that purse could hurt so much, right? Yeah. And then I said, you never again will touch my butt. Understood? Boo! And then he was like, yeah, oh my God, yeah. He was so surprised because he couldn't understand. He was like a burly man, right? A burly boy.
Yeah.
He was big. And I mean, I was so small. Like everyone is big. I'm 4'11" today, so everyone is big for me. And then I remember the walk back, and then we have to walk back to because we went far away in the school area, but like far away. And then we had to come back, and I remember that I realized that I had to keep my status.
Okay.
To the whole thing, because I couldn't be like.
Yeah, you had to be serious.
I had to be serious, and we came back in silence. And then when we arrived where his friends were, they were laughing. And I say, okay, boys, I did a speech. I say, like, okay, boys, gather here. There's no touching my fucking butt, okay? Your friend here just bit the shit out of your friend here, and no one is touching my butt here anymore. Understood? And they were all very surprised.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa. I say, okay, good. And I laughed. And that actually was good because it changed the boy's behavior because I bit the guy, like this came
you bit
up.
him too?
I know I bit this one.
You beat him. Sorry,
I bit
him.
Yeah, no,
Where'd that come from?
I bit this guy up, and then I think the principal heard of it. I don't know how, but then I had to tell the principal what was happening.
Okay,
and then their parents were called in school. Yeah, and then the behavior stops. So I saved all the girls' lives.
There you go. That's an early age to be standing up like that, though. That's
right.
You know, that's 9 years old, 8 years
It was
old.
I think about 9, like 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. Yeah.
So, that's great. And so from then on, you feel kind of empowered by your,
by my anger. Yeah. My anger, I'm not gonna lie, that's it.
Yeah, it
man.
Make you a lot bigger than, you know what I mean? Like
I mean, it is very toxic for your life, but in a fight,
it's good. Yeah, if you can harness that fire.
Yeah.
And so as you get a bit older, you get into high school. Are you starting to like have more and more confrontations, or is this like something that comes on a little bit later? Or is this like a constant thing? Oh
no, I had. It is a constant. What is a constant? I had because then this was a school, and then I had my family, and then I had like the street. You know, you want to be like back in Brazil. If you want to be respected on the streets, that's a work. That's work.
Yeah.
You need to get some street creds, right?
Mm-hmm. So you wanted street cred.
I wanted because I want to be left alone.
Okay.
That's the only reason I wanted. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to mingle, and I in my head I just wanted to be respected. Mm-hmm. I didn't want the boys like. I think like I remember the boys talking about girls, the way they talked about girls, or they being like sexual objects, or I didn't like that at all. I didn't feel good about that. And because I also like my best friends were guys. Like I mingle with guys very well.
Yeah.
It's not that I didn't have any guys friends.
Yeah, of course.
It's the opposite. Actually, I used to like my some people ask me like, but wow, my God, you're so angry. Men will hate you. No, it's the opposite. They love me.
Yeah.
Men love me.
They enjoy.
They want to be friends with me. My husband love. Like I remember when we started dating, he was like, "It's so good because I don't need to fake that I can protect you.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna beat the people. You need to beat people like before me. So I feel so relieved. I don't have this pressure."
Yeah. My wife's a ninja.
Yeah, and then And I remember there's this guy, and I hate it. I think this guy was my first true hate.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember him to this day.
Yeah.
Jason.
Jason.
Fucking Jason, like a fucking English name in South America. Get the fuck out of here. Your name doesn't fit, So you had this guy. He was the brother of my best friend.
Okay.
And he was the older brother, and their parents never let my friend play around without her brother.
Okay.
Right? He was always around, and he was a mess. But I would be like, okay, just because I wanted to play with her, right? But one day, this guy, he came down my street. He lived in the street above. I was in the street below, and he came down with more 3 delinquents, and he had a BB gun in his hand.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. And I was there. I was sitting in my like in the sidewalk, really like reading, because it was too hot to be inside the house, because where I lived it's close to the rainforest. It's very, very hot. Like very hot. It's like 45 degrees every day. It's very hot. And so if you don't have air conditioning, you don't want to be inside, So I was just sitting like in front of the house, like reading. I think I was reading a book, something like that. I used to read a lot. I really love to read to this day. And he came and I saw him and said, ugh, but I went back to my book. And then he shot a bird. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, we're hunting." I was like, "No, get the fuck out of here."
That's not hunting.
No, get the fuck out of here. And I was sometimes I don't believe how sassy I could be and be not afraid. To this day, I think like, how can I would say like this. I would say, "No, get the fuck out of here." Right? And he was like, "Oh no, I'm not getting out of here." I was like, "Oh no." And then I started walking towards him, like very slowly. "No, why do we want to kill birds? Don't kill birds. No, blah 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 blah." At some point, I took the BB gun out of him and I shot him with the gun. And they start running. The 3 of them start running, and then they ran a little bit, and then Jason look around, "Give me back my BB gun." And he started running towards me again, and I shot him again.
How old are you at this stage?
These are maybe 10, 11,
You're
10.
like a child soldier disarming an older guy with a gun and shooting him.
Yeah, but because I knew how to shoot a gun. My dad taught me how to shoot a gun. I was about 9, I think.
Yeah.
So I was very confident with guns.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's commonplace in the household.
Yeah, I mean, no, not commonplace. Like I wouldn't like shoot a gun like every day, but I knew how gun works, and yeah. So and so that day was the funnest because it is good when you beat up someone you hate.
Yeah.
That's pleasure involved.
Jason was cruising for a bruising.
Yeah, right. It was so good. I loved it. I loved it. Motherfucker. To this day, I love it. To this day. Because sometimes I think sometimes I beat up men just to correct, just to educate. You know, sometimes there was
Beat some sense in
yeah,
you.
there's educational stuff. But sometimes I really loved it.
Sometimes it was personal.
Sometimes, yeah. Him and my cousin. Ugh, my cousin was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Older cousin.
Way older. This I don't know. I'm just telling the stories. I don't know if you want to.
Oh.
Is this the podcast? Was just telling
Yeah,
stories?
just telling fight stories.
Okay.
I want to hear them all.
Okay.
As many
Like,
as we can get.
I had this cousin. His name is Bernardo.
Bernardo.
Yeah, he
Not
was
a popular name in Canada.
not right.
No one likes a Bernardo.
Oh, I don't like a Bernardo either, so we're cool. Yeah, so he was a very like angry.
Yep.
You know those boys. He was 18 at the time. I was 11. He was 18, and he was very angry. You know, his nickname was Devil.
Devil.
Yeah, he was like very mischievous. Say no, I don't know. Yeah,
mischievous.
Yeah, you know those boys. Think about a boy that is called Devil. Called the Devil.
Yeah,
like this.
That's not a good tag to get.
Yeah, he was very like always making a mess of everything, and was always making a mess with his younger cousins, especially the girls, right? And the boys too. He was terrible, and then we went because he lived in a different city. Thank God. And we went, my family and we went to spend the Christmas there at that city. There were two uncles that lived in that city. His father and another uncle.
Yep.
So we were his mom and dad hosted us in his house. And so I was there. I was already grumpy because he had stepped on our dolls. I was playing with my cousins, and he came and stepped on our dolls. An 18-year-old man.
Yeah.
Okay? I was already grumpy. I didn't want to play. I was angry, right? So he came. Okay, so that was Christmas Eve, right? So the Christmas dinner will take place in my other uncle's house. So the adults, they went to the other house and they left the children with Bernardo. So Bernardo take the children later because he was an 18-year-old man. Okay, so I was at his bedroom because his bedroom was the girls' bedroom during the time. We were 5 girls. And I was at his bedroom, and when everyone was ready, he came in the bedroom and said, hey, Carol. I say, oh, hey. And he said, bye. He closed the door and locks the door from the outside.
Oh.
And I knew, I knew that he would not open the door. I asked, Bernardo, open the door. And he said, bye, and starts laughing.
Yeah.
And I listened to his steps, like he's walking away from the door.
Yeah.
And I know him, and he's not gonna,
Yeah.
And I became very angry because I knew that I will be spending my Christmas there because the adults, they were drunk already. No one will miss me. I know my family, right?
Yeah, they're fucked off
I will
now.
be with no bathroom. I will be in a room. And I became mad. I think it was my first nervous breakdown. I became really, I think I've never, but by that time in my life, I think I've never been so angry.
Yeah.
And I started yelling, Bernardo, open the door, Bernardo. And I listened to him like unlocking the door, the front door.
Yeah.
I was, Bernardo, open this fucking door, Bernardo. And I go to the window. And the windows in Brazil are barred. So I could not jump.
Okay.
Right? And Bernardo, open this fucking door, Bernardo. And then I listened to him locking the front door. I was like, it's done.
Yeah.
But then I look at my side, and in the floor there was his entire CD collection.
Okay.
He loved it. He was a nerd. He was like kind of a geek, like a video game guy, like music, this kind of guy.
Yeah.
Has collections.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys.
Okay.
So he had this CD collection. What an asshole. Paying for music, right? And he has like this around like 8 to 10 boxes, like very organized, like a collector stuff.
Yep.
And I said, oh my God, I'm going to hurt this motherfucker so much. I grabbed one of the boxes and I say, Bernardo, do you like your CDs? And I threw the CDs into the wall. With noise.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Bernardo! And I grabbed another one. Bow. Fuck you, Bernardo! And I grabbed another bow. And then I hear him running, unlocking the door and running. And then when I hear him unlocking the bedroom door, I thought I'm fucked. Because he was aggressive. He would beat the shit out of me. He would not care that I was 11.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm literally fucked.
Yeah.
But then I had an idea, like fast enough, like I hear him unlocking the door. I grabbed another CD box, and when he opened the door, I threw the CD box into his face and I ran.
Yeah.
And I ran and I ran to my other uncle's house. It was like 15 blocks.
Yeah.
And I was running. Fuck you, Bernardo. He was after me.
Oh, he was coming.
He was coming. He was close. And then I arrived, and then it was that mess, right? Oh, Carol broke my van, blah, 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 blah. And then his mom wanted to defend him.
Yeah.
And she said something that which is very, that the family always like thought that it was difficult. She say, "Oh, Carol, you're too difficult." You know, this kind of. And I say, "Fuck you" to his mom, and then my mom throw a flip flop into my face. It was a mess. It was a Christmas mess.
Christmas fiasco.
Fiasco, totally. But Bernardo never messed with me again. Like, I mean, the family was weird with me after.
Yeah.
Which is very unfair because Bernardo will fuck up everyone and. No one was weird with Bernardo, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, no, what? Fuck all of you. And I was very happy to fuck Bernardo at least once, you know?
Yeah, fuck with him.
Yeah, I fuck with him. And he, I don't remember him messing with me again. Not like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will leave me alone.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So that's a confrontation with someone much older than you. When you get...
That was the first time I beat up a man.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
because he was a man. Before that, it was only boys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big age gap. And so then
Yeah.
as you get older, you're just gaining confidence with each one of these things.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, Bernardo, I didn't beat him up, actually, right?
Yeah,
I hurt him emotionally.
Yeah, you're using other tactics.
Other tactics.
To bridge the gap in size.
Exactly. Exactly.
So as you get into your I guess into your 20s, is this still constantly these confrontations starting to pop up more and more?
I think like I had some confrontations like on the streets, but like I would be more like, I remember this guy. I was you know when you're like waiting for the sign to be green?
Yeah.
And I was there standing, a street sign. And then this guy, he stepped back, I don't know, for some reason, and he stepped right in my feet.
Yep.
My foot, my right foot.
Okay.
And he was, you know, when he stepped, like, he really did. Like,
he dug into the back of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't see, of course.
Yeah.
But I say, I screamed like a natural reaction. And he looked at me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you foot there. You don't need to yell."
Yeah.
I was like, "Excuse me?" You just stepped on my foot, like, right? And he was like, "Oh, it was in the morning. I remember it was morning." And he said, "Oh, you're too grumpy. It's morning still." Then I looked at him and said, "Man, you stepped on my foot. I have the whole right to yell, and I'm gonna." So I was like in my toes to be taller, and I walked a block into his ear yelling, "Ah! Ah! Ah!"
Oh God.
That was a little bit crazy, I think.
Yeah, that's a little bit. That's someone who, takes it to the next level. Then how did he handle that? Did he just keep walking to try and get away from
He
you?
was like scared. Like, what would you do?
It's like a witch coming
Yeah,
down.
exactly. But I don't. I don't know. I don't like this kind of. I don't know. Maybe I was too oversensitive, or maybe not. Maybe maybe everyone
You don't
should
like
be like
being
that.
dismissed, I think.
Yeah, you
If
know.
someone dismisses you in a situation where, like, they made a mistake and they bumped into you, but then they dismissed you when you voiced your displeasure. And that's kind of I think, a common theme with your anger, maybe.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
You're
It's
not
just
going to take that because it's a common, thing for a man to dismiss a woman.
Yeah.
And not, I guess take stock of their emotion in
Yeah.
that situation.
I've been involved in fights with women too, but way less. I think I can remember two, maybe.
What was a good one?
It was my landlord.
Oh, really? How'd that come about?
Oh my God, she was crazy.
Yeah, she was crazy. If you think she's crazy,
No, she was insane. This woman, she was so insane. That she did like we had it was a condo, right? So we had this apartment with old couple.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy was like in his 80s.
Yeah.
And he needed the ambulance to park in the parking spot every day for his
IV or whatever.
I don't remember I don't remember like exactly. He needed something.
Yeah.
Right? She said no. Yeah. This was the kind of woman. This is crazy, just crazy. And my husband and I, we moved to the apartment above her, and we are very quiet. Like my husband and I, we don't throw parties. We don't even listen to music really at home.
You don't have any CDs from Bernardo
No,
anymore?
no CDs.
Bernardo's CD club went away.
Yeah, and we are very quiet. And she was always complaining about noise. I was like, but that's crazy. Like I don't even wear heels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no reason. And then one day I was coming back from groceries, and I saw her in the hall, and I said, hey, Angela was her name. I want to talk to you about the noise complaint because I think it maybe comes from a different apartment and you think it's
yeah.
I don't know what's happening. And she was seated, and she punched me right here.
Oh, really?
Like right here.
Threw a punch sitting down.
Yeah. And I was like, did you realize you just punched me? And she said, oh, and you can't do anything because I'm over 60 years old. And there's a law in Brazil that if you beat up an elderly person, you go straight to jail.
Oh, is that why Hoist Gracie came out of retirement?
That's the reason. Other people be in jail. And she said, they'll say, bitch, I'm going to jail. So
Oh, wow.
So I grabbed her arms and I start kicking her butt. And then it was a mess. The police arrived. Oh, that was the first time like really the police arrived.
Yeah.
And I was afraid. But as I told you, she was a bit crazy. So the police officer, apparently, he was there every week about something. So he just like lectured me.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything.
Oh, that's good. So she was like she was known to police.
She was known, yeah. Yeah. So
you just kicked her a bunch of times, or did you smack her around?
Because she was an old woman, right? It was more that was more educational than anything else, right?
It was disciplinary.
Just disciplinary, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's crazy, man. So too many fights,
and not many women. That more against guys.
Yeah, but I think women. When they want to hurt you, it's different.
Yeah, it's a different. They'll use emotional or tactics or a little bit more psychological.
Yeah, I remember like in school, like when the girls want to like be an asshole to you, they will like, oh, let's stop talking to Carol.
Yeah, they'll mean girl you.
Yeah. But the boys know they bully you.
Yeah.
because I think that's my theory. I think just because boys they are taught to express
Yeah, they use
aggression.
more brute strength than cerebral tactics for sure.
Yeah, and women like you should be nice, but women have anger too.
They have that instinct
so
as well.
they need to express in a way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so you're married at the time of that one, but like when you were dating and stuff, did you have like any like bad boyfriends that you had to like tee off on?
I did. I did this guy. I didn't fought him, but he was an asshole. I went away to visit my dad for 2 weeks, and we were dating.
Mm-hmm.
And he cheated on me.
Okay.
With one of my friends.
Oh, big mistake.
Yeah.
Had he seen you flip your lid before? Had he seen you like lose your cool?
No,
or is this, like,
this guy
this
I don't think he
new?
saw.
So this is going to be a new.
Because of course, I would not. Yeah, not everyone. Like, I think I used my anger like rationally.
Mm-hmm.
Only when I really need.
Yeah. So this is going to be an element of surprise for this guy.
Yeah, because I'm actually like I'm just a person.
You're...
Like I don't. Yeah, right. But
you never beat me up. So.
No, never. So this guy. Okay, so I was away for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The first week I would call him every day.
Yeah.
It's okay. Second week stopped answering me.
Okay.
Was ghosted.
Oh, old school ghosting.
Old school ghosting. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Right? It was so weird because we were friends. We were friends before I started dating.
Oh, okay.
So that was weird.
That's even worse.
Yeah, right? And then when I went back, a friend of mine told me that he had cheated on me. But I didn't know what to do because I never had a lot of boyfriends. You can imagine why.
No comment.
I think a lot of boys was afraid. They were afraid of me. Yeah, definitely. But so I didn't know what to do because this guy was my friend, and he stopped like answering me. If he had told me, I don't know, I would have a conversation with him. You know,
it'd be a little different.
Yeah, but he was just evasive, and then he was not answering my phones anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day he called me, and he asked me to go meet. We had a group of friends in common to meet in the bar.
Okay.
Right, but I was around 16. But in Brazil, there's no. If you have money, you buy alcohol. It's no. Anywhere. So we're like drinking.
I feel like there it's like it doesn't matter what age you are, you're an adult.
Oh yeah, that's what I think. I don't think I was never been a teenager.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you say that because I went to Brazil like 2 years ago and I stayed in a friend's house and she has a teenager daughter. Mm-hmm. And talking to this daughter, I was like, I was never this. I've never been this.
Yeah.
Teenager. I've never been a teenager. Well.
So you're 16 and you go. So now he's invited you to meet.
With this like
mutual group of friends.
Like so.
Is that his like safety in numbers?
Exactly.
Like because
he didn't want to meet me in private.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, okay, I'll go. I didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there. We were like together, okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I was drinking. Boom, boom, boom. I used to drink a lot.
Yeah.
I used to drink a lot. I was drinking. And then at some point, I wanted to throw up. Because I had this thing before. I would drink and then I'd throw up and keep drinking.
Oh, yeah. I've been that guy.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah. I was drinking. And then I went to the washroom to throw up. And then when I was throwing up, I had an idea. And I saved a little bit.
Oh no!
In my mouth.
Oh.
And I approached him.
You fight dirty. You fight dirty, Zoccoli.
He cheated on me, Tyler. He cheated on me. Motherfucker cheated on me. And then I arrived him like as if I would give him a kiss.
Oh
and I
no!
Just he never talked to me again.
Oh God!
He never talked to me again.
And what did he do after that?
Motherfucker!
What did he do when you did that?
I think I told him I was drunk. I think he was just like surprised.
Yeah.
And I think I just walked off. Yeah, that's what happened. He was surprised and I walked off. And then he never talked to me again. That's it.
That's funny. That's a definitely a different way to get even with someone. I spat in one of my boss's coffees.
Really?
When he was trying to bully me in front of all of his crew, and I got this job through a friend of mine, and who I was living with too, like one of my buddies, and this guy was the boss was trying to like bully me in front of the whole crew, and I'm like, I can't fight this guy because I'm gonna get jumped. Like I'm totally outnumbered. I'm the new guy. Like if I just like attack the boss, someone's gonna want to get points for.
You can't.
You know what I mean? And, like so I'm like, I got to do something about this, but I can't like cause trouble because I don't want my friend to get fired because he was the guy that got me the job. So I'm like in this like weird, like I felt so handcuffed, right? And then they're making me go and get them coffee and stuff. So I get him coffee, and I got him the wrong coffee. He like spits it out, and he's like making a big scene in front of him. Just a dick, right? I could probably beat this guy one-on-one, but I know it's not going to go that way. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just get you another coffee. I'm trying to diffuse the situation. Get him another coffee. Everything's fine. Later on the day, I go on another coffee run. Fucking, they screwed up the coffee. Tim Hortons fucking got him the wrong coffee. He loses his shit, and he's just screaming at me in front of everyone. I'm like, fuck, I hate this guy so much, right? I'm like, chill out, man. I'll get you another coffee. I go get a fucking coffee, and I open up the lid on the way back. I'm like, I gotta get even with this guy somehow, right? So I just hawked a loogie right in the coffee and gave it back to him and watched him drink it right down. How do you like that, Nick?
Oh my god!
And it was like so satisfying, and I quit that day, and but I knew I couldn't fight this guy. He was like 10 years older than me, and it would have been a good fight probably. I think like fists I could beat him, but he's strong. So when a guy's like a landscaper type life, you know what I mean?
I know.
They got so much more like strength than you when you're like 20 years old. Like you can get, ragdolled. If you try to wrestle me or something, I don't think I could have beat him there. I would have had to like keep him at distance with punches, and then even then, there's that whole crew of guys. Someone's gonna probably jump you, right?
Of course.
It was a no-win situation for me.
Oh.
But I figured out a way to win.
But did you fight a lot in your life?
Yeah, I've been in enough fights anyway. Not a ton compared to some of the people that we've had on this. It's insane. Like, my co-host John Moses and I, we've been in enough like altercations where we like to think that we can handle ourselves, but then we start interviewing some of the people that have been on this show, and it's a little crazy.
No, we always like when you're in a fight, you know that maybe you can be beat up.
Yeah,
that's it.
I got to the point where I was I fought enough that I knew what I was doing when I was fighting without just being pure adrenalized. Like I would know what okay, I'm gonna do this now. I'd throw in a new move every now. But I haven't fought in so long, so it's been like I would probably get smoked now.
No, when I was 18, I started training capoeira, like really serious, like just to get some technique.
Yeah. And so did you?
I was more confident. Yeah.
And you
I was strong.
Were you using kicks and all that? And
kicks. Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. I'm so small that it is like I can't. Like I always knew that I can't win. Like I can't win a man. Like like a normal sized man. Like arm wrestle. Like that's no right.
Well, they say even like with two guys fighting, a good a good fighter for like a big man always beats a good fighter that's a small man, just because it's the size is such a powerful thing,
Yeah.
But someone of your size going up against a grown man is a mismatch. You have to find different ways, different tactics and angles to come at them.
Yeah.
So like, would you like?
So that's why I think also like a lot of guys like we hang out together, we get along, because this is the problem of a lot of guys too. Like I mean, I'm talking about being bullied as a girl, as a woman, but guys are very much bullied too. by the bigger guys.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Of course, there's a pecking order in every group of friends.
Yeah.
With guys, there's a pecking order, and just as a guy, like every dude I meet, I size up. I'm like, I could kick that guy's ass.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I think of. It's just ingrained in you, and I think it's ingrained in a lot of guys.
Yeah.
But naturally, in that group of friends, there will be a pecking order. There will always be the guy that everyone busts on.
Yeah.
And not necessarily like physically, but they make fun of him or whatever because they, he's the weakest link, and that's just society, I think, or just maybe genetic or whatever it is. I can't think of it off the top. Of my head. Human nature. Thanks, Kim with the save.
But you have to find like different ways. But as I told you, like my dad was a small man.
He's a small guy,
and he was a badass.
Did you see him beat people
I
up?
see my dad shooting people. I see my dad.
Yeah,
I see my dad.
Tell
My
me
dad
about
one day.
that.
One day, I saw my dad throwing a chair in a guy's face.
Yeah.
I saw my dad shooting at a snake's head. That's how of a good shooter he was.
What kind of snake?
Oh, I don't remember. It was not a big snake. It was not like. I don't remember like the.
But he just shot.
Yeah,
a
I remember
head.
it was a yellow snake, and she was like even like on the floor, right?
Yeah.
With its head, and he just.
Boom. And so you've seen him shoot people.
Yeah, just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was my sister's boyfriend. He didn't like it. It was a drug dealer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's a bad boy.
And my dad didn't like him.
Of course.
But he didn't. He didn't. He didn't get. He shot at the guy, not.
Oh, he shot at him. Okay, yeah.
No, he wanted to.
He tried.
He tried to. But it didn't work. So the guy
he wasn't a
ran.
snake.
Yeah, the guy ran away. Yeah.
So I mean, that's gotta like as a kid impact you, or
Yeah.
see your father.
Oh,
taking
my
that
God.
Type of stance, right? You probably pick
wow.
your boyfriends a little bit more carefully.
No,
or-
never introduced a boyfriend to my dad. Never.
Never. Eh?
Never. That is
Even your
insane.
husband, or is it?
No, my dad is dead, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
He died in 2003, and I started dating my husband 2006, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
they never met.
he's certainly left an impression with that type of behavior.
Oh yeah, like even to like protect my boyfriends, I didn't want my dad to. Yeah, because if he didn't like it.
Yeah, there's dads like that for sure, but like I
Yeah.
mean, that's next level. That's still like everything in Brazil is like a little bit crazier.
A little
maybe.
bit crazier,
like
yeah.
compared to the Canadian standards.
Oh
but,
yeah, maybe.
you know, you
So I don't know what happens in like small towns. I
mean,
know.
small town Canada. I don't know. It's not the. I don't think it's any different than what would be in the city. I mean,
Yeah.
there's always, when you date girls, there's always a dad that's a bit of an asshole
Yeah,
to you that
right?
doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Kind of mean mugs you.
Yeah.
But, but no, I didn't run into anyone too bad like when I was, dating girls. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure none of them liked me.
Yeah.
So going through all this and stuff, who's the person that was like who was your toughest one-on-one fight where you were in? Did you ever get into one where it was like really knockdown, drag out?
Let's see, a 101. I think it was a capoeira. It was maybe two stores in a capoeira circle.
Yep.
Although sometimes we did circles, capoeira, and sometimes we just wanted to fight. Because sometimes we just want to show.
Yeah, just
like,
show,
just 'cause
showcasing
it's beautiful,
your
right?
technique.
Yeah. And I was fighting this girl, and she was too fast. She beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, she just
Yeah, she was too fast.
you could not keep up with it.
Yeah, and I think I tried to be technical. I was very good technically,
Okay.
but she was fast.
Yeah, speed is the most dangerous thing in the
And
fight.
I was like, and I think because I didn't hate her, maybe that's why.
Yeah, sometimes that plays a factor in it. So was that like a sanctioned fight, or like it was just like in like a, I guess, what, I don't know, is it called dojo or is
Yeah,
it-
in capoeira it's like this. If you have like a circle,
Okay.
and there's music, and then there's two people inside the circle like playing.
Yep.
So let's say we're playing. Sometimes we just dance,
Yeah.
right? Boom, 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 boom. But sometimes I can
Throw some bombs.
jump some bombs to see if you want to fight.
Yeah.
You know, in that day, and there's always this energy of the circle. Like, you know, like every day is different. And that day, everyone was fighting,
Okay.
right?
Interesting. I've never heard of this.
So I was like, we were all like, yeah, motherfuckers, we're going to fight today, you know? And then I went up with maybe 3 people, but this girl, she got me good. Yeah.
Yeah. And did she hit hard, or was it just the speed that?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could snap
both.
the
Yeah,
punches.
I'm happy that none of the kicks got into my face. Yeah. Smart like legs and
Yeah. And what's the craziest bar fight you've been in?
A heckler.
A heckler.
A heckler.
Oh.
It was so. I used to host a comedy show in a radio station in Brazil.
Okay.
It was awesome. It was me or 4 guys. And those guys, we are all alcoholics.
Yeah.
And those guys, they are all from the ghetto.
Yeah.
Like, it was so funny. They were the best. And then we started doing this comedy show once a week. Because three of us did comedy too, live comedy, right? So we started doing this show, producing this live show, right? And then one day, we were there doing show, and we had guests too. So there's this table, you know, when a table when it's like some birthday or some like business kind of a meeting.
Yeah.
When they start drinking and they don't give a shit to the
Yeah,
comic.
They're not there for the show.
They're
They're just
not-
there to drink.
They're not just there to drink. And before the show, we told them, we're going to have a show here. Do you want to leave?
Yeah.
Do you want to...
You gave them the option.
Yeah. And they, no, we're going to be quiet. And they spoke, and this guy heckled every single comic. And I was closing the show.
Oh, okay. So now it's.
And I was already pissed the shit out of me
Yeah.
when I got on stage. And then I got on stage, he started heckling me. And then I started, because also being a comedian in Brazil, I had to really learn how to shut down hecklers.
Yeah. Because the audiences aren't trained.
They aren't
either,
trained.
'cause it's
Yeah,
a new
exactly.
art form to them. So they're So
Yeah.
this is like a whole other ball
Exactly.
of wax.
Exactly. So I started humiliating this guy. Like, he really, like, I was dirty.
Emasculating him.
Yes.
And they don't like
really
that.
emasculating him. And he became mad.
Yeah.
And he said, he stood up and he said, "No, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight." I don't know what he said. He said something like, I'm gonna fight all these fucking comics. He said to the comics.
Yeah.
Because they're all men. And I say, "Oh, you don't want to fight me because I'm a girl? You don't want to fight me because I'm a girl?" Don't say that. And then these guys, they were like ready.
Yeah.
People like with bottles
Yeah.
and then this fight bar fight broke.
Yeah.
And then the show, of course, stopped it. And then, you know, like, of course, like, people separated. But this was like a bar fight
Yeah.
because of a heckler.
Everyone's going. And so do you go after?
And that was
the-
so funny because my friends after that, they were like, "Carol, thank you so much," because they're all
Yeah.
like adults with kids, you
Yeah,
know. And they're
yeah,
like,
they
"Oh,
didn't wanna-
there've been so much time that I haven't been in a fight. Thank you so much.
they're
That
happy
was so
that you
excited.
ignited
We
a brawl."
love you so much."
Did you attack him though?
No, I didn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
No,
So-
just with words.
Yeah. Okay.
I just like I just provoked the
And you
fight.
started a whole bar fight. Just ignited it. That's great. 'Cause we had comedian Rich Voss on the show, and he was talking about how a huge brawl broke out at one of his shows in Kansas City, and he's just on stage kicking people in the head from the stage, just picking shots.
Yeah.
It's wild how that type of environment can escalate so quickly, like in comedy. Like
Yeah,
it can
people are
happen
drunk.
fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
People are drunk, and I don't know, sometimes people
and you challenge
get
them.
so mad about your authority.
Yeah,
Because as a comic, like, you are the authority in the room, right? Sometimes people just want to challenge it. It's so weird.
and their insecurity comes out when they're drinking, and
Yeah.
especially if they're being picked on by someone with a microphone, they feel like they have
Yeah.
less power. They need to assert some sort of dominance,
Yeah.
and they try and control things, right? And
Exactly.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
That's
mean,
weird.
it's definitely one of those things where when you are going into every night as a comedian, you're going into a new place.
Yeah.
And it's a new set of people, and you don't know who's a threat in that crowd. There could be, you have to pay attention, keep your head on a swivel when you go into these places.
Yeah. I'm okay with hecklers, even because mostly like they don't want to be mean, they just want to participate. Most of hecklers. So I really I'm really cool with hecklers, but that guy was not cool.
Having been in altercations and in these situations throughout your life, though, as a comedian, I find like your that little voice in your head, or like that feeling you get, like you can tell if someone's actually like out to try and really ruin your show, or if they're just having fun. You can tell that, sense it before the rest of the audience senses it. So sometimes it's like, sometimes we go at these guys really hard right away, and then the rest of the audience is like, whoa, that was like super aggressive on the comedian's part. So you have to almost be careful as to when to really turn up the switch.
Yeah, you gotta be smarter than them. You let them
them unmask themselves as an idiot.
Exactly. So the audience is on your side.
Yeah,
it's hard. It is hard, man.
What's the funniest fight you've ever been in? What's the one that you think is the funniest? That was comical.
I think there's one that I find it very funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's too dark.
That's okay. Dark's good for us, yeah.
So what I was like, my family and I, we had just moved to this neighborhood. And in Brazil, like when you move to a neighborhood, like they have like the mugglers and the thieves, right? So they send the interns to check out the house if there's anything else to rob.
Okay.
Right? That's my feeling.
Yeah.
And I wanna... we had just moved. And then I was in the bathroom like watching TV or something. And my mom comes running and says, Carol, 2 guys just broke into the house. And I was about... I think I was about 11 years old then. I had no doubt. I walked to my dad's wardrobe. I grabbed the pistol. And I shot at the guy. Get the fuck out of here, motherfuckers! Boo, boo, boo! It was 11.
Yeah, that's...
And it's this 2 adult men running.
Yeah.
They start running. They were so scared. They ran the fuck out. They ran. And we lived like right beside... we had our house was at the end, the skirts of a neighborhood. Yeah. So we had like a little river, and we had like not jungle, but like Yeah. So I saw those guys like go into the jungle, like running as 2 motherfuckers.
They're more afraid of you than what's in the jungle.
Yeah, and my mom was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah."
Second nature at that stage, right?
Yeah, and I was like, we know it was good because now no one is gonna rob this house because they know there's crazy people here. They will shoot you,
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I think this is very funny.
Yeah, another gunplay story at the Zoccoli residence.
Right.
Honestly, it's been just such a great time having you on the show, and if you guys are listening or watching this, make sure you check out Carol Zoccoli, hilarious stand-up comedian based out of Canada now, but from Brazil. And you have your one-woman show coming up. If you want to just plug it where they can.
Yeah, it's going to be in April at Second City at JCB Theater. It's called How to Beat Up Any Man.
How to Beat Up Any Man. And I think if you listen to the episode, you've got some good tips out there already. So honestly, thanks so much for being here. And guys, if you're listening, check us out on Instagram at Fight Stories Podcast, and on Twitter at Fight Stories Pod. Follow us on all of our social media, and make sure that you subscribe on Patreon. We have a whole bunch of amazing incentives for people who subscribe to the Patreon. You can get amazing Fight Stories t-shirts just like this one. They're super comfortable, and we have them in any size. And you guys are going to want to get all of our stand-up albums, John Moses, Tyler Morrison. They are part of Patreon subscriptions as well, and bonus episodes, and all kinds of additional content. So thanks so much, guys, for listening. Remember, fuck the art, support the fights. This has been Tyler Morrison with Carol Zoccoli, and everyone has a fight story. We'll be back again next week.
Bye.